He's Collin Morikawa, and had a chance to talk to him yesterday. And he's had quite a 24-hour period there after winning the PGA Championship. And I asked him, how did he celebrate Sunday night after winning the PGA Championship?
We just had some drinks after the round at the course. I really didn't sleep. I had in and out this couple hours ago, and I just absolutely tore through a couple burgers. I'm living off a lot of adrenaline right now, I'll tell you that.
When did you realize that you could win this thing?
Seriously, after the end of Saturday, even before Saturday's round, I felt like if I had a good round, I could really make a charge. And being not in that leading spot, but being a couple behind starting Sunday, I thought, shoot, it's anyone's chance. After I looked at the leaderboard on 12, it was a nice large party of us at 10 under. So you just kind of had to take it in and tell yourself, this is your time. You're not going to get, an opportunity like this to really separate yourself. And I just had to take any opportunity I got.
It's one thing to play the course. It's another thing to play it when it's souped up PGA standard wise. So you played it before, but the biggest difference between when you played it before as an amateur to playing it for a PGA Championship was what?
Oh, I mean, everything. It was a completely different course. Other than the layout of what it looks like, visually, you talk about the tees being all the way back. Some of the holes I had never played all the way back from those tees. The rough was way longer than I've ever seen it. So fairways were that much more important. Pins were way tougher. So I think from tee to green, everything was just a completely different course. So even though I knew it, I had to come out and be prepared and not get lazy with all my prep work, Monday through Wednesday or Tuesday through Wednesday, really.
I know that people are going to focus on 16, but I went back and I think you had a par save very early, maybe first hole, and then you had a chip in as well. And you just start to look at these pieces. It's a jigsaw, and you put them all together. And I know that you hit that shot on 16 will be talked about for decades, but it was the other ones that kind of fill in the gray area there that if you don't have those, then 16 might not matter.
Absolutely. And you hit it spot on. The par putt at 1 and the par putt at 6 that were, roughly 25, 30 feet, saved my round. If I started making bogey on hole 1 while everyone else is making birdies, I already kicked myself in the foot. And then, I'm already one step behind, if not two. And I would have had to do that much more work to catch up, So those par saves were huge to keep the momentum going. Obviously after 1, but, on 6, I was already 2 under. And going into holes 8 and 9, those are some of the toughest holes on the course. So you just want to try and get out there with par. 16 is going to be one of the most memorable drives. I think the putt was almost more important than the drive. Yes, I had to get my drive there, but I had to make that putt. The putt had to go in, or else those last 2 holes could have been a little different.
What did the ball feel like when it left your driver on 16?
There's nothing to describe it. It just felt right. And I think that's what all golfers, whether, they've played golf or not, they know when they hit that one really good shot, that's what it's like. And I hit it exactly how I wanted. All my caddy and I were praying for was a good bounce. And, you just got to have luck on your side. And thankfully I did. And from that point on, we weren't even paying attention to where the ball was rolling. We just knew it was on the green.
Everybody talked about the Bombers and they were going to take advantage of that golf course. And then I kept thinking, I remember watching you at Cal in the NCAA tournament, and I didn't remember you hit it, extraordinarily long. And then I went back and I said, your average is around 290 something, I think. So that was a perfect hole for your driver. Like you didn't have to amp it up. You didn't have to dial it back down. It was like, if I hit it 290 or 292, I'm pretty good here.
Yeah, it was made for me. It was made for, the cold weather, the 295 hitters. I played with Cameron Champ, and he's definitely one of the longest hitters on tour. Yeah. And he's got to hit this small little slice. And I'm just, stepping up there, and all I got to do is hit a normal drive. I don't have to do anything special. So those holes kind of fit my eye, the same thing, 14 at Muirfield, same exact, kind of distance wise. I just have to hit a normal driver and I'm right there. But I'm glad you said it like that. I'm not a long hitter. but I'm glad you didn't say I'm a short hitter. I like to think of myself as just average.
Well, if you do anything just average, it might be that, Collin. Everything else that you're doing is above average. And then you look around, so there's no fans. At what point do you notice that Steph Curry is following you?
Yeah, no, I'm a huge sports fan. So I started seeing him on the eighth green. I saw him on 9T, and my caddy didn't even recognize him. I mean, he did, but I pointed him out. I'm pretty observant, especially with no fans out there. You can kind of tell who is who, even with a hat and a mask on. And Steph was awesome. To have him come in the media center after and ask me a question. He's just an awesome dude, and just an amazing basketball player too, obviously.
But you had to tell him that you're not a Warriors fan.
Absolutely not. And I'm an LA guy at heart. I love the Lakers. I love the Dodgers. That's what I breathe. Our TaylorMade bag was a Giants themed golf bag. On the inside, it said Giants Sweep and Dynasty, printed from magazines when the Giants had won the World Series. I almost don't want to touch the bag anymore. I don't want to look at it. It doesn't belong in my house. And to be honest, it won't be in my house.
Wait, but who picked out the bag for you I know it's the Bay Area, but you're a Dodger fan.
Yeah. I think the TaylorMade guys just wanted to go with the theme of being in San Francisco. I'm just saying the U.S. Open is going to be in L.A. I think at Los Angeles Country Club in a few years. I better see some blue and white out there. If I don't, I'm going to be a little mad.
When did you know you could play with these guys?
Oh, man. I played. I was very fortunate to have a sponsor's invite to, now Korn Ferry event when I was heading into my sophomore year of college, between that summer of freshman and sophomore year. I had just made the cut on the number. I shot 63. I just saw a number. I was looking at all these little tweets and Instagram things to get into a playoff. And that's when I knew what's so different about what I'm doing compared to what these guys are doing, other than, the opportunities they're getting. I still wanted to finish up college. I wanted to get my degree. I got my degree in 4 years at the Haas School of Business, an awesome program. Very fortunate to be a graduate from there. But, once that had happened and seeing all my amateur career and looking at the wins, I knew that I was meant to play golf. And I knew that this is what I wanted to do. And it was all about getting these chances to play out there.
Who have you heard from since you won that might surprise us?
That might surprise you. There's a lot of golfers that have texted me. I've gotten to know Max Pacioretty pretty well, hockey player for the Golden Knights. He's been a pretty cool guy that I've been able to play with quite a few times over this quarantine out here in Las Vegas. He obviously reached out. Someone that I never would have thought, I had met, Marco Mira. Two very different, age, two very different time periods of our golf, but I was able to meet him out here in Vegas. And we got to play a few times. And he's an amazing person because,
great guy.
He lived through all that through Tiger's prime. Tiger used him as a learning experience. And that's what I'm trying to do with all these other guys, is just learn as much as I can, figure out what they're doing, what makes them great, and kind of work that into, what's going to make me great.
What was it like the first time you go up to Tiger, whether it's on the practice range, introduce yourself? Do you have to have somebody introduce you? So you're nervous about doing that?
I was a little nervous, but, I was very fortunate enough to, we've got the same agency. So Mark Steinberg helped me, introduce myself to him.
Okay.
But the first time I played with him, he obviously went to Stanford. I went to Cal, huge rivals. I still have a Go Bears yardage book cover in my back left pocket. So we tee off at Torrey Pines first round on a Thursday. We both stripe ours down the middle. I'm walking right in front of him, and he looks at me and he laughs and he just gives me a little smirk. He's like, "Go Bears." Yeah, right. And I'm like, oh my God. But that's what makes, I think, professional athletes, and just, you put them on another level of just being a normal person. And to have him say that to me just allowed me to just, dive a little deeper into being, a friend of Tiger, not just a competitor that I see out on the golf course. So that's one of the coolest stories I have with him for sure.
Well, it was great to watch, and certainly cool under fire there, and congratulations. We appreciate your time, Collin.
Thanks so much. I appreciate you guys having me on here today.
That's your PGA champ, and he's only 23 years of age. Got a chance to be a star.